Copenhagen, Brussels, and Amsterdam. By Pedro Lucas Mendonca Menezes. My first impression of the gallery was it was quite a wide space. I think that's because the walls were white, and because the walls were white, it also made the paintings look more rebellious because it kind of contrasts with the colors in the paintings. It also had little information in each painting, which surprised me because it should have a deep meaning in each painting, and if you don't have information, it doesn't really mean anything. In the museum there were several artworks, such as painting and sculptures, as well as others, made by several different artists. All the artworks in the exposition had a meaning, which was represented by color contrast, change in perspective, and symbolism. I would say that a lot of artworks in the exposition represented war or a conflict between two entities, and you can see that by the symbols used in the paintings as well as the color contrast. You could see what people thought at that time and what was happening at that time. The exposition was basically a big pressure pan just waiting to explode from all these restrictions in that time. This is quite remarkable to know because the society can see what kind of expression was going on at that time, as well as very interesting artistic techniques created from those circumstances. One of my favorite artworks would be the portraits, in which CoBrA art was drawn over photos. One of my favorite paintings was this one by Carol Apple, Women, Children and Animals. It was painted oil on canvas, and it retracts women, children and animals staring at you, like if something is happening outside the painting. In this painting you can see change of perspective, for example in the eyes. The eyes look like if they are in a frontal view, like if they are staring at you, or their bodies are in a profile, like if you're seeing them by the side. You can also observe symbolism in this picture. For example, the women and children would probably mean the innocence of that time, and how something was affecting it. In this painting you can also observe color contrast, how the animals have white, which possibly means peace, and how the warm colors are like invading the white, possibly means that something is affecting that piece. In my opinion, I really like this painting, basically because it's really equilibrated and you can really see what is the meaning behind it. It was one of my favorite paintings of the whole museum, and if I had 770,000 euros I would surely buy it. My second favorite painting was Red Star Sky with Ship by Carl Honig. There is a change in perspective in this painting. You can see that by the boat, which is in a profile perspective, while the sun and the figure in the start of the painting are in a frontal perspective. There is symbolism in this painting. I think the boat means a big voyage or a big journey, and the red sky means like trouble, means there is a war or a conflict or something really messy happening at that time. You can see color contrast in this artwork. For example, the night sky, which is purple, and the flames that are yellow, which possibly means that the flames are overcoming the night. I like this artwork because you can clearly see what was happening back then. There was a confusion, like a conflict or maybe a war, and it was otherwise a Pacific picture. It was just a night sky and the ocean. As a conclusion, I could say that I really enjoyed this art gallery, and I could say that it was really useful for me to go there, because now I can have a better perspective of how to represent what I'm feeling, since now I have looked what other artists represented and how they represented it. It was also good because now I know a little better about the history of Europe and what was happening in that era, and basically how things were back then.